is there a new world order in the making? Well, a group of 14 world leaders met in Uzbekistan last week under the auspices of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This China-led group has attracted to its ranks the likes of Turkey, which, if accepted, will become the first NATO member to join this Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the SCO. The bloc is the largest regional economic cooperation body in Eurasia, and discussions at the summit range from trade to security. Let's discuss this now with Dr. Kingsley Makhubela. He's, of course, a geopolitics expert from RiskRecon. Dr. Makhubela, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us here on Today. The SCO is not a new organization, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It started very small a few years ago with 5 member states. Now it's sitting at more than that. I think it's about 10 member states, but more are knocking on its doors, like Turkey, that just the other day, yesterday, is saying that they would like to join the SCO. What is the SCO in a nutshell, very quickly? Can we begin there?
Good afternoon, Bradan, and always a pleasure to talk to you. The SCO includes, the basic focus is on 3 issues: politics, security, and economics. And they have defined themselves as such. If you look at the decision they've taken in the last week, they are very much adamant towards militarization of space. You recall the US has created a military corps that deals with the space. They are opposed to the weaponization of ICT, and for good reasons. In the past, there have been accusations of cyber attacks, and ironically, in some instances, Russia has been blamed for cyber attacks. So they have taken real firm position on this issue, including also the unilateral behavior of the West. In terms of sanction, they are saying sanction must be a mandatory sanction, are of course imposed by the United Nations Security Council. But given paralysis of the United Nations Security Council, the West has gone unilateral in some of these issues. They are very much opposed to that. So you will see this consolidation, as you are saying. And I think we as South Africa, we ought really to intersect with this development.
Yeah, before we talk about that, before we talk about that, that's another question I have for you. Now, is this a counterbalance to the West? Because it was started by China, and you've got the likes of India. India is a superpower in Asia. You've got Russia there in this group, and you've got the likes of Pakistan and Iran, including the original members like Kazakhstan. I mean, is it?
Bradan, it's if you look at the demographies within SCO, you have close to 3.5 billion people. They have taken about 40% of the global population. So it's such a huge formation. And other countries are being attracted to join it. And there's a partnership, there's an arrangement that they are having now. They have dialogue partners. They have those who are observers. Of course, it emerged as a formation. They used to call themselves the Shanghai Five, which was China, Russia, and the other former Soviet republic, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and so on. So these are the countries that are literally at the founding.
So if it's such a big organization, member countries, they're representing nearly half of the world's population of 3.5 billion. There should be, as you say, some intersection or engagement with African countries. Has there been any? Because when I saw the last summit last week, they invite people as observers, as guests of the SCO. Has Africa participated at all?
Well, Egypt participated this time around, and they don't necessarily invite. You can also send a request to be an observer to go and participate. They do allow. They're very flexible in terms of expanding. But the crucial thing that is coming out of this is that the new financial architecture is starting to emerge. And we are at RiskRecon, we're doing a detailed research around this dynamics, Bradan, and we want to publish an ebook that really addresses this unintended emergence of new power that rivals the Western civilization. And that actually pronounces on key issues that the world is concerned about around unilateral decision, the unipolar world. I think we need to intersect with that to really safeguard our future economic interests. Remember, in international...
Is this an emerging new world order?
It is emerging a new world order. If you look at them now, the transaction that is being done there is no longer done through SWIFT, which is the existing global transaction that has been transacting trillions of rand. They are setting up their new system. The Russians and the Iranians, they've actually agreed on the modalities of how they're going to transfer funds for goods and services. In China, it's in the same. India is the next host. They're also in the same in terms of the new transaction model around the world.
So where does South Africa... where does South Africa stand in all of this? Do you have any information about where do we as South Africa stand in all of this? Because currently we are partners with Russia, India and China and Brazil in BRICS, which is not really what we are talking about.
We are still on the fence. I think we should have started the engagement with them. I mean, the UAE, Saudi Arabia have started the engagement with the SCO, and they're gaining some form of status to participate and influence the architecture of this organization as it moves forward. I'm just worried if we keep on standing on the fence, it's going to be determined for us. We would move into this already made for us. Our interests won't be taken into account. And remember, if we don't advocate for our own interests, no one is going to do that for us.
Yeah, we're going to have to monitor this. Thank you very much, Dr. Kingsley Makhubela, for your time and insights this afternoon on Today eNCA, talking about the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the SCO, which held its latest summit late last week in Uzbekistan. Turkey now raising its hand and saying it wants to join this regional grouping that's based in Eurasia. And if Turkey is admitted as a member state to the SCO, it will be the first NATO country that will be doing so. We have to watch this space very closely. And where is South Africa standing on all of this? What are we going to do? Still ahead on Today.